Gun Shalom Akyam. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the other apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well, and Shalom to the sincere Akyam, spreading truth and sincerity. Shalom. This video I want to go into this article on Reuters, and what led me to go into this article is a video that I saw today popping up concerning Iran, and how in Iran they want to hand out these digital coupons for the people to deal with the inflation concerning the bread at the moment, because what's happening there right now is there's inflation, and the prices of certain products are rising so much that protests are being organized towards the government. And what Iran is offering is to distribute these digital coupons to purchase subsidized bread, meaning the bread is not going to be costing as much as it would cost if you would go and buy normal non-subsidized bread. But we all know what this is going towards, and Lord willing, through the Spirit, I'm able to bring that out as well. And Lord willing, this video will not be taken down for going into that topic as well. But this is the article, and it says, soaring bread prices spark protests and shop fires in Iran, IRNA reports. It says, an Iranian man holds stacks of bread as he walks along a street in Tehran. Iran, May 1st, 2022. Masjid Asgharipur, via Reuters. And this article is published on May 13th. So it's been a while, but this information is still valuable. It's still worth to bring out. Dubai, May 13th. Soaring bread prices have triggered protests in Iran, in which some shops were set on fire, prompting police to arrest scores of provocateurs, the official IRNA news agency said on Friday. And people are getting sick and tired, man. The people are not agreeing with what's going on upon this earth. We've seen this happening during the pandemic that we faced for the last 2 years. Pandemic between brackets, or between quote unquotes. And these are signs of the times that we're in. People in Iran protesting, and destroying shops. That's all part of biblical prophecy. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9, starting at verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we're measuring the time diligently by observing what's happening upon this earth and filtering through the scriptures. And by doing that, we're able to tell, that the Most High is visiting this earth which he made. By all the prophecies coming to pass and the judgment that's proceeding from the Heavenly Father. Verse 3 is the point concerning the protests. Verse 3, therefore when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So when we would see earthquakes, that will be one of the signs of the Most High visiting the earth. But also the uproars of the people will be one. And protests in Iran is part of that. Last year, or the year prior to that, over here in the Netherlands, I think it was last year, over here in the Netherlands, there was a major protest going on, close to where I live in Rotterdam. And all over this globe, all over the earth, The protests have been going on, so that shows you the times that we're in. And these things were already written, thousands of years ago, and now they're coming to pass, right before our eyes. Going back to the article, it says the protests were triggered by a cut in government subsidies for imported wheat that caused price hikes as high as 300% for a variety of flour-based staples. 300%. That's a lot, man. So imagine, you only have like, $10 to spend a week. Normally, the bread that you buy is $1. Imagine that one being €3 now. So you only have €7 left for the rest of the week instead of 9. So people have to make certain cuts within their purchasing, within the purchases that they make. And that's gonna hurt, man. That's gonna put people on edge, because now they have to make a decision. What are they gonna choose to not purchase? It says Iran's official inflation rate is around 40%, and some estimate it's over 50%. Almost half Iran's 82 million population are now below the poverty line. And if you are in poverty, or let me say different, if you are in poverty, it means that you don't necessarily have the means to buy the food that you need. So let me quickly look up the word famine on my other phone. And this is on the Wikipedia, and it says, a famine is a widespread scarcity of food caused by several factors, including war. We see the influence that the war between Russia and Ukraine has on the prices of certain products, such as wheat, oil, and then I mean sunflower oil, and of course also oil and gas prices, that we put in the car. You see, but concerning food, it's the wheat and the sunflower oil that are going up in price, man. Today, was it today? Yeah, it was today. Today I was in the supermarket, and I seen the price of the sunflower oil. Normally 1 liter of sunflower oil will be around 90 cents or like €1. It was €2.99. So that's what happened with what's going on between, Russia and Ukraine. And of course, there might be some skepticism about that, but they do make use of that, crisis. You see, because the people in power, their motto is never let a good crisis go to waste. Even if the Netherlands and other European countries produce a lot of sunflowers and produce sunflower oil, these people are wicked pieces of shit, man. They're the ones that are gonna make use of this whole crisis going on between Russia and Ukraine, to make a profit, man, and also to further the agenda concerning the plagues that are coming upon the earth, man. Because if you go to 2nd Ezra chapter 15, the Most High spoke about these things. Because it says, 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 5, behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And if we're going to continue reading in the Wikipedia concerning famine, it says, a famine is a widespread scarcity of food caused by several factors, including war, natural disasters, crop failure, population imbalance, and widespread poverty. And if you go to the word poverty, it says, poverty is the state of having few material possessions or little income. So if you don't have enough income, you might not have enough funds to purchase the food that you might need for yourself or your family. So that's regarded as a famine, which the Most High spoke about those things before we were even born, in this current life. But going back to the article, it says, the government plans to offer digital coupons in the next couple of months for limited amounts of bread at subsidized prices. The rest will be offered at market rates. Other food items will be added later. So the government of Iran is planning to offer digital coupons. So with everything, being turned more and more into digital or digitalized versions, such as the currency that we're using as well, we used to have paper money and coins, but slowly but surely these things are done away with. Everything is going to become more digital. And we know where this is going through because step by step, they're preparing the people upon the earth to receive the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast spoken about in Revelation chapter 13. See, so right now, the people might not have to implement a certain chip within their hand or something, but the steps that are being taken is bringing this closer and closer. So it says the government plans to offer digital coupons in the next couple of months for limited amounts of bread at subsidized prices. The rest will be offered at market rates. Other food items will be added later. So let's go to Revelation chapter 13, starting at verse 16. And it says, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And the he is referring to the EU and the NATO. And they're going to make sure that this earth is going to be prepared to receive this mark. And, you might ask, what is this mark? Well, it's the RFID microchip in your right hand or your left hand, but it also referring to the brain chip that Elon Musk is developing for human purposes. And if you go into the Greek word of the word causet, it says poeu, which means, well, let me say it like this. It has multiple meanings, different way that it's being used in the scriptures concerning the outline of biblical usage. But one of them is to prepare. So what's happening in Iran, is preparing Iran to eventually receive this, mark of the beast. And eventually the whole earth is going to be tried. Verse 17, and no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So the time will come that you're not able to participate in society by making purchases and selling your wares if you do not have the mark of the beast. So that's the choice that people have to make. Let me see where it is. This is Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. And the hour of temptation is referring to the moment that the world governments are going to implement the RFID technology with everything that comes with it, so that people are not able to participate in society without that. So the people are going to have to make a choice. You either bow down to Esau, Edom, the so-called white men upon the earth, who's also being referred to as Satan and the devil in the scriptures, or you're going to have to survive. You might have those that, want to try to survive on their own, but, us being Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and those scared among the heathen nations, looking like the heathen nations, we should turn back to Yahawashi and rely on him to provide for us in the times to come. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and if we keep the word of the patience of the Heavenly Father, which is the red letters, this is Yahawashi speaking, if we take up that cross, and follow Yahawashi and endure, and make sure that we overcome everything that's being thrown at us, then the Most High is also going to make sure that we're not going to be taken, during the time that they're going to implement that chip, man. The Most High is going to make sure that we're not going to be the ones to take that chip. Because if we take that chip, we're going to be destroyed And it means that we are not part of the elect. That we're not part of the chosen people, that the Most High has ordained for salvation. You see? So we pray that we may escape that upon the earth. You see? Going back to the article. So the last paragraph that I read, the last verse says, the rest will be offered at market rates. Other food items will be added later. And, right now, as the article is insisting, is, you're going to have a difference between those that make use of the digital coupons, because them using those coupons, they're going to be able to purchase the food at way lower prices. For someone who's very rich, he don't really care about the price that he pays for the food. But those that are in poverty, they do care, because they have to provide for themselves and their family. So they're going to be a group that's going to be easily persuaded, to make use of the digital coupons. But eventually they're also going to be the ones to be easily persuaded to take that RFID microchip technology. It's like the RFID microchip technology. And that's it, man. Putting people in such a condition that they don't have a choice. Putting them and forcing them to be, in the corner. Reading on, it says, there were scattered protests in a number of cities, according to IRNA, in which crowds chanted slogans against price rises, and some shops were set on fire. In total, 22 people were arrested. Despite attempts by provocateurs to incite protests, the rallies ended with the intervention of security forces, said IRNA, adding that calm had been restored. The largest protest was in Desful, in the oil-rich southwestern province of Khuzestan, where IRNA said an estimated 300 people were dispersed by security forces. It said 15 people were arrested for trying to create chaos in the city. About 200 people demonstrated the Sar Accord in Khahar Mahal and Bakhtiari province in western Iran on Thursday, IRNA said, while state officials said calm had returned to Sahar-e-Court. Videos posted on social media indicated that the unrest had spread on Friday to cities, including Ardabil on the northwest, Rasht in the north, and Iran Shar in the southeast. Reuters could not independently authenticate the videos. In the first sign of discontent over price rises, Iranian media last week reported disrupted internet services, an apparent attempt to stop the use of social media to organize rallies and disseminate videos. So they're gonna, what they try to do is they try to make sure that the people had no outside influence, nor being able to gather certain information. Which what that makes me think about is also the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Because it's like at the time of the famine of the word. Because the time's gonna come that the Most is gonna take away his word from the streets and from the internet. So there could be a potential, internet shutdown. To make sure that people are not going to be informed here and there concerning what's going on. And that's what I also see with reading this article. They try to make sure that other cities, other regions were not being affected by it. Because it says an apparent attempt to stop the use of social media to organize rallies and disseminate videos. It says, while Friday's IRNA report was the first acknowledgement of the protest by Iran, official media, video posted on social media this week have shown protesters in Desful and other cities chanting slogans against price hikes in the country's leaders. Wheat prices have drastically increased globally since the start of Russian invasion of Ukraine in February, adding to the cost of subsidies in Iran. Iran officials have also blamed the price hikes on the smuggling of subsidized bread into neighboring Iraq and Afghanistan. So yeah, that was the article. To summarize, what had been said in the article is due to bread prices rising, there were protests going on. Eventually, the government is planning on making use of digital coupons, which grants the people a bread at subsidized costs, which means the price is going to be lower for those that make use of the coupons, which we see what they're actually doing, man, because the people that tend to go towards such a solution are the ones that are going to be in the worst case because they need to, they have to. So we're seeing that they push people in a certain direction, man, and eventually, a similar scenario is going to happen with the mark of the beast, in which the people are going to be persuaded to take it because of the benefits that it has. If you have that, if you have the RFID microchip, you can acquire food at this and this rate, or you can, I say that, buy food, in comparison to someone who's not able to buy food without the chip. You see, so for certain people that are in a certain situation that like the comfort, that like, the benefits that it can bring, they're going to be persuaded to eventually take it. But we're not supposed to take it RFID microchip, man. What the heathens are doing, we don't care. But we teach our people, the Israelites, don't take that chip. Don't take it because you're bowing allegiance, to Esau, Edom. Don't do that. Turn back to Yahawashi, and He's going to keep you safe in the times to come. You see, so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the other apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well. And shalom to the sincere Akyam, spreading his truth and sincerity. Shalom.